Yeah, today we are going to start the database. Okay. Now, what is a database? Okay. Now, basically here, what is the purpose we are using? What is a database in the sense like a database is okay an organized organized collection of data. Okay, collection of data. Now, which can be now easily maintained maintained and managed and updated. Okay, now whatever the data we have, whatever we created, whatever the data inside the data we have database, the database data easily we can maintain, we can update, we can manage. Okay, now number of billions of people are using the Facebook. Okay, now I am also using. Sometimes I simply here I want to see like what is my first message. Okay, last 10 years back I created my Facebook account. For example, even if I want to see that like first message, simply within a less time I will get. Okay, the thing is what within the billions of people are using the same application. Okay, even the within a minute, like simply I'm getting in the sense like the database can be arranged, data will be like that. Okay, now mainly in the nowadays, like every application, like every industry, every industry is like working on the data. Without data, there's no industry. You can take like any type of industry, like everything is working on data. The data is playing the main role. Okay, in every business. Okay, now the lot of people are interacting with like their applications, like softwares. Okay, every applications have the two types or two layers. Simply we can say that. Okay, the first one GUI and the second one is a database. Okay, the GUI in the sense like a graphical user interface. Okay, but as a user we can interact with that application with the user interface. But what about the database? The user doesn't have any idea about like how the database is fetching and how the database is inserting the data. Okay, this type of interaction as a user simply we don't have any idea. Okay, as a developer, we have an idea, but as a user, we don't have any idea then how the database is going to be fetching the data, all these things. Okay, now whatever the data it's stored in the database, it's going to be maintained in the securely. Okay, now we can store like accurately it is stored. Okay, it will maintain that security and accuracy about the database. Okay, now if you want to maintain like that, the database is using some kind of software. Okay, now it's a defined that we can call some softwares to manage all these things like that is DBMS. Okay, now what's the mean by the DBMS? Okay, now DBMS in the sense database management system. Okay, database management system. Now what it will do? Okay, the database management system is a software tool. Okay. Now, what the purpose we are using here? Now, it is used to store and manage the data in the database. Okay. This DBMS is used to store the data and manage the data in the database. Okay. Now, and what it can do in a sense like adding the new data to the database table and modifying that existing table and deleting unwanted data. Okay, now this type of things the DBMS can do that. Okay, now here we have some kind of architecture about like DBMS, but we don't need it. But like some uh, some things like DBMS can do, like some facts we have. Okay, now this DBMS is entered into in the picture of like whenever the database is introduced. Okay, now in the DBMS, now we can store any type of format. Okay, any format we can store in that this DBMS. It's not necessarily use should we can use only the tables. We can store like any type, any type. Okay, now we have the no proper rules to store the data. Okay, there's no proper rules to store the data. Now it's a duplicate data, it's like repeated data. Okay, now it's unwanted data. Any data we can store in that in the DBMS. Okay, now because of the reason, like the DBMS is like some disadvantages in the sense what, like it is allowing that lot of duplicate data. Okay, now because of the lot of duplicate data, the redundancy we are going to get. Okay, the because of redundancy, the database performance going down. Okay, now that is the reason that one more software is entered into the picture, that is a RDBMS. Okay, what's the mean by like RDBMS? Relational uh, database management system. Okay, database management system. Now, what's the purpose of this RDBMS? Okay, now by using this RDBMS, now the data we can insert in the form of like tables and rows and columns. Okay, now by using like the 12 rules, some person is applied. The person name is like a EF code. Okay, he applied the 12 rules, some kind of acid rule, like information rule, guarantee rule, some rules we have. Okay, based on these rules, like simply you can introduce the RDBMS into the market in the, okay, now in the 1890s, 1986 something. Okay, yeah. Now because of the 12 rule, simply like the data can be managed easily. Like there is no data going to be more data. It's not going to be duplicated. If you want to, we can delete it and we can interact with the tables. All these things we can do that based on the 12 rules. Okay. Now we know that in the daily life we heard like SQL. Okay. Now SQL is a, it's a language. Okay, it's a language. Okay, simply we can call it a database, but it's related to the database we have, but it's a language. Now the SQL engine is like a, the structured, okay, the structured query language. Okay, the structured query language. Now what is the purpose we can use this SQL? Now we can access, we can manage the data. Okay, we can access and manage the data in the database. Okay, now here this SQL is based on ANSI. What's the mean by that ANSI? Okay, now American, okay, National Standards Institute. It's present like with the ANSI only. Okay, it is used in that in the year of the same year of 1986, same year. Okay, now we have many SQL softwares we have. Okay, in the market we have that many SQL softwares in the we have in the market. Okay, now we have MySQL, Oracle, okay, PostgreSQL, DB2. Okay, now other SQL simply like MongoDB, Redis, all these things we have. But like we have SQL and no SQL we have. Okay, now whatever we have like MySQL, like Oracle, PostgreSQL. Okay, now DB2, SQL Server. Okay, all these things are under SQL. Like under NoSQL, we can call it some MongoDB.
Not only SQL.
Yeah, MongoDB and the regular Redis is something we have. Okay, all these things are related to like NoSQL only. Okay, yeah. Now that what the SQL can do. Now what this structured query language we can do that. Now we can execute the queries against the database. We can retrieve, we can insert, we can update, we can delete. Okay, we can create the new database. We can create the new tables. We can throw the new procedures. Okay, we can create the views and we can get the set the permissions. All these things we can do that. Okay. Now if you want to do all these operations, okay, if you want to do like all these operations, now we need to understand some concept that is subcategories. Okay, the subcategories we have. Now what is a subcategory? We have different types of subcategories we have. The first one is ddl. Okay, now dml, now drl, now dcl, and tcl. Okay, ddl, dml, drl, dcl, dcl. Okay, ddl in the sense data definition language. Okay, now DML, data manipulation language. Okay, now DRL, Okay. Now data retrieval language. Okay. DCL. Data.
Control language.
Okay. Now TCL. Transaction control language.
Language.
Okay. Now under DDL we have some commands. Okay. Now create,
Create.
rename, like alter, okay, drop, and truncate.
Okay.
Okay. In the DML now we have insert, update, delete. Okay. Now in the DRL now we have select. Okay. In the DCL now we have think something is there.
Truncate.
Yeah, it's not a truncate, like it's a
Revoke.
grant, yeah, grant and
And
review
revoke.
we have. In the TCL and commit and rollback is there. Okay. Now, DDL, DML, DRL, DCL, TCL. Okay, these things we have an idea without this subcategories concept. Okay, now we cannot understand any database concept. It's a completely entire database. It depends on the subcategories only. Okay, without this concept, then any one concept we cannot learn in the database. Okay, that everything is depends on this DDL only. Sorry, it's a subcategories only. Okay, now in the RDBMS, everything it's depends on like tables. Now we can create the table. Okay, now we can create the database. But suppose I want to create a table. Okay, I want to create a table. What is the syntax here? Okay, now create is a keyword. Now create table, table name. Okay, now with the parenthesis, now we have a which type of variable. What is the column name simply here? Now column name. Okay, now data type and size. Okay, now this is one column. The column name, the data type, it's a size, comma. Now one more column. Okay, one more column. Now like this also we can write it. Okay, now like this also we can write it. Okay, now create a table, table name. Okay, now column name and data type, it's a size. Okay, column name, it's a data type and size. But if I execute directly in the database, simply this table is not going to be created. Why? Okay, now even though I wrote the syntax, but suppose for example, I am going to execute now this one. Create a table. Table name is employee. Okay, every employee has a some ID. EMP ID is a int type, data type, and so the size is like a 20. Okay, now EMP name like a var okay 20, and EMP salary or decimal also you can take, and int also you can take. No issues on that. Okay, now this is the take. If I execute in the database this query simply, it's not going to be executed. So we are getting error. Okay, why we are getting error in the sense like you create a
You need
table. Okay, in
database.
database you create. Okay, now which database you want to store? Okay, now the database name you need to mention. Okay, if I open that MySQL workbench, it's asking like before go to enter the database. Okay, now one separate file I created. Okay, now if you want to execute, for suppose simply here directly I'm going to executing this query. See here, control copy and control V. I can copy this one. I'm going to execute this execution. Okay. Now we are getting errors here. No database selected. The default DB2B usually by double clicking its name. Okay. But I want to create like a some database. Okay, why in the sense within the database only we are storing the tables. Then where we can store in the tables in our database. Now where is your database? Okay, here we have the many databases we have. Okay, we have many databases. In which database you want to store it? Okay, in which database you want to store it? That is the point. Okay, now I want to create like my one database. Now the syntax is create database and a database name. Okay, the database name now, yes, like underscore sept. I'm going to make it as, okay, this is our database name. Okay, now I create a database. Okay, now see, select this one and execute this one. See, database is created, but here we cannot see that here. If you want to see the database, you need to refresh it. See here, the refresh symbol here, you can click on this one. See here, the database is created. Okay, now the database is created, that's okay, right? Now I want to execute my table. Now execute it. Still we cannot create it. Why? We are not selected. Okay, we created, that's okay, but we are not selected any database. Okay, now after creating the database, now we need to use our database. Okay, use in the sense like we are selecting our database. Now use yes underscore set. Okay, now if I execute this one, now see here, the database is, we can use it. See here, it's selected. Okay, we have a lot of databases, but the US underscore sept is a little bit bold color, means it's selected. Okay, now if I want to execute this query, now see, you can select this query and click on this symbol. Now say the database is created. Sorry, like table is created. It's affected. Okay, it's affected. Now see here, I want to see the database structure. Okay, now we have some keyword describe. Okay, the describe a table name. What is the table name? Employee. Okay, now describe the table name. If I execute, we can see that, see here, emp id, emp name, emp salary. The type of emp id is int type, the type of emp salary is int type, and emp name is a varchar 20. Okay, now, okay, now we describe the structure of the table. But if you want to the structure, now if you want to insert the table, or sorry, if you want to insert the data, simply we need to use some more commands. Okay, now before going to that, first we'll go with like one by one. Okay, in the DDL I used the create. Okay, create I use. Okay, next we'll go with like alter. Okay, now what is the purpose of the alter command here? Okay, now within the alter, okay, the alter is used for if you want to manipulate or update any table columns. Okay, now we can use a alter command. Okay, the meaning is what? ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, now we have only three columns, emp id, emp sal, emp name. Okay, నేను టేబుల్ క్రియేట్ చేశాను, బట్ నేను అడ్రస్, ఎంప్లాయీ అడ్రస్ రాయడం మర్చిపోయాను, కాలం ఎంప్లాయీ అడ్రస్ కాలం మర్చిపోయాను. Okay, that is a mandatory. Every employee has some address. Okay, now if I want to update an existing table data or existing column data, కాదు ఇక్కడ కాలమ్ యాడ్ చేయాలి, ఎక్స్ట్రా కాలమ్ యాడ్ చేయాలి ఈ టేబుల్ కి. ఇక్కడ త్రీ కాలమ్స్ అయిపోయినాయి ఆల్రెడీ. ఓకే, నా సియర్ ఐ వాంట్ టు సీ ద డాటా, అంటే ఈ టేబుల్ ఏమైనా డాటా ఉందా లేదా చెక్ చేద్దాం. DRL కమాండ్ select star. Okay, the star in the sense like all the columns in the table, from which table? Employee. Okay, I can select this database and I can execute it. Now say there is no database we have, only the columns we have. There is no data also we have. I want to add an extra column. Okay, I want to add an extra column. Okay, now for that we can use alter. For suppose I don't want like emp cell, I want to delete it. You can delete this column. Okay, if you want to update the name of this column, yes, you can update it. Okay, if you want to change the data type of this emp cell, yes, you can do that. Okay, now if you want to work, if you want to update and manipulate Okay, any table column, we can use that alter command. Okay, now in the alter, we have the four commands we have. Alter add. Okay, alter rename. Okay, now alter modify. And again, alter drop away. Okay, now this is the extra four commands within the alter. Alter is one of the command. Okay, within the alter, again we have the. Okay, now I want to add one more column. Okay, add a column to existing table. Okay, existing table. Now here, add column. Okay, sorry. Now alter. The command is like alter table name. Okay, now add a column name. Which column you want to add? EMP address. What is the data type of this column? Varchar 30. Okay, that's it. Okay, now we added an extra column to this existing table. The table is employee. Okay, we added. Okay, we add column. Okay, now alter table names here. Alter table name. Add column name and its data type and size. Okay, now observe carefully here how I can add it. Now, okay, now alter table name. The table name is employee. Now add a column. Column is a keyboard. Okay. Now which column you want to add? Employee address. Now what is the data type? It's a varchar is the data type. What is the size? It's your wish. 30. Okay, 30. Now select this column. Okay, select this column and execute it. Now here affected record duplicates and affected. Now here alter table employee add column is affected. Okay, now one more column is added. Earlier how many columns we have? Three, but right now it's a four. Okay, now select a star from employee if you want to see the table structure. Table. Now you can execute it here that employee add also added. Okay, employee added. Okay, now you want to rename it right now. Okay, whatever the column you mentioned EMPID, it's not good. Okay, if you want to mention the new column, sorry, the rename the column name without instead of the EMPID, I want to write a employee ID. Okay, now only ID if you want to write. Okay, I want to rename the column name. Okay, now rename the column name. Okay, now see alter table name. Okay, rename. Okay, rename old column to okay old column to new column. Okay, now rename column. Okay, rename column old column name to new column. Okay, now see alter table name. Okay, now rename column old column name to old column is EMPID. Now to new column employee ID. Okay, now alter table name, rename column old column name to new column name. Okay, now early old column is what EMPID we have, but I don't want to like EMPID. I want employee ID. Okay, now execute it. Now here it's affected. Again, you can select that star from employee. Now here we can see that employee ID, it's not employee ID. Okay. Now we renamed it. Okay. I want to modify. Okay. Now what do you want to modify? Observe carefully here. Now for the salary type, you are using int type. Okay. Int type you mentioned. But I don't want the int type. I'm getting by. Yeah, just to give a minute. Yeah. Now add, rename, modified, drop. Okay. Now if you observe that EMP sal is a int type, right? I don't want to like use the type of int and I want to change that size also. Okay. Then how I can modify it? Okay. Now I want to modify the table. Okay. మీకు కావాలి అంటే ఈ సైజ్ మ్యానిపులేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు ఆర్ అదర్వైజ్ డాటా టైప్ కూడా మ్యానిపులేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు ఓకే వీ కెన్ మాడిఫై ఇట్ నా ఆల్టర్ table table name modify column. Okay. Now which column you want to modify? EMP cell. What you want to modify? Into earlier we have, I want to change to decimal. Okay. Decimal. Okay. Now 4 comma 2. Okay. The 4 points with the decimal 2 after decimal after precision, like we have the 2. Okay. Now okay, I modified. Next one, I want to drop it. Okay, I want to drop it. Now I want to drop it. How I can drop the column? I want to drop like salary column. Okay. Now if you selected, we don't have any data inserted, but we have the columns: employee ID, employee name, employee salary, employee address. I don't want like employee salary column. I want to drop it. Okay. I want to drop it. Now alter table name. Okay. Drop column name. Which column? EMP sal. Okay, EMP sal. Now select this one and execute it. Now say that it's affected. If you select that employee, we cannot see that salary column. See, salary column is deleted. Okay, the salary column is deleted. Okay, the salary column is deleted. Now this is about like alter command. Okay, alter is one of the command. It is used to modify table columns. Now the columns we can add. Okay, we can add, we can rename, we can modify, we can drop it. Okay. Now next what here? The rename. Okay, the rename in the sense what? Okay, rename the table name. Okay, renaming the table name. Okay, we can rename the table name simply. Okay. Now earlier, what is the table name here? Employee we have. Okay, employee we have. Okay, it's not good. I want to use EMP. Okay, now employee to EMP I want to change. Okay, now rename. Okay, rename table, old table name to, okay, old table name to new table name. Okay, old table name to new table name. Now observe carefully here. Now rename table, old table name is employee, new table name is EMP. Okay, now I'm executing. Select executed. I want to see the table structure. Okay, I want to see the table structure. Now see, select start from employee. I'm selecting. Now see, we cannot see that. See here, table US underscore sept in this database dot employee table is does not exist. Why it's not? I created right, but I changed the name of the employee name. Table name I changed it. Okay, now that's why simply here our table name right now is what? EMP. Now we can write select star from EMP. Okay, now if you selected this query, we execute it. Now we can see that employee ID and employee name, employee address. Okay, now we can see that. The yeah. Now that's why now we change and rename the table. But suppose simply here, now yeah, now I want to drop the table. Okay, now we have the command create, rename, alter, drop. I want to drop the table. Okay, now I don't want this table. Okay, right now I don't want to this table. Now drop a table. Table name is a EM. Okay, we cannot drop employee. Okay, if I'm trying to drop employee, we don't have employee table. How you can drop it? See here, I'm trying for like here unknown table that employee. Okay, now we can drop our table EMP1. Now we can drop it. Okay, now see here again if we are searching for that EMP, we don't have any EMP. See here the table EMP does not exist. Okay, now we can create table, we can rename the table, we can alter the columns, and we can drop it, and we can truncate. Okay, the truncate will discuss later. Okay, the truncate will discuss later. Now, okay, now this is about like only the table definitions. What we can do that. Okay, next the DML. Are you clear this one, Radial? Any doubt?
Yeah, clear, Anna.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go with uh, okay. Next, we'll go with like a DML operations. Okay, the DML. Okay, the DML in the sense what a data manipulation language. Okay, DML in the sense data manipulation language. Okay, now data is going to be manipulated. Okay, it's not a column. Okay, it's not a table. It's a data. Okay, now by using DML, we can insert the data, we can update the data, we can delete the data. Okay, we can insert, we can update, we can delete it. Okay, now see here how we can do that. Okay, now if you want to insert, we need table, right? Without table, we cannot insert it. Okay, now I'm going to create like one table. Okay, customer table I'm going to create. Okay, our student table I'm going to create. Okay, now create a table name student. Okay, now create a table name is a student. Now student ID is a int type, the size is okay, size is optional also. For suppose if you don't mention like for the int type size, automatically it's selected. Okay, now again comma like student name like varchar 30. Now student like marks is equal to sorry int type, that is a true, you can mention like a student address. Okay, now there is a varchar 30. Okay, now execute that, table is created. Okay, now select star from X student. If you selected, now see the table is created. Okay, we don't have any data. Now I want to insert the data here. Okay, I want to insert the data in the student table. Okay, then what is the query? Now insert into, okay, insert into table name values. Okay, how many values we have? Okay, one, two, three, four values you want to insert. Okay, now first value is which type? Int type. Second value string type, like a third value int type. Fourth value string type. Now int is like a one, two, three. Okay, but it's a string, simply we can use the single quotations. Now the student name Rahul. Okay, now comma, student marks like 45, student address. Okay, now simply here Hyderabad. Okay, like this the four records are inserted, but it's not a record, like it's not a four record, it's only one record. The single row we can call it a one record in database. Okay, the single row we can call one database. Now observe carefully here, I can insert the data. See, observe carefully. Right now we don't have any data, it's empty. Now insert into table name values. Now the values are like one, two, three. Okay. Now Karthik, comma, salary, like it's a marks and it's a address. Okay. Now 28 I can check. Now see if I execute. Now execute. Now see the row is affected. See here, one row is affected. Okay, means one row is created. Then how I can see the data? Okay. Now we can use a select star from student. Okay. Now see 1, 2, 3, Karthik, 78 Hawaii. Okay, we can insert, we inserted one record. For support, I don't want to see like all the records. I want to see that only the name. Okay, the name of the student. Now select st name from student. Okay, you can select the single name. See here. Okay, now I want to select like the two values. Select st name and marks. St marks, I want to see that from student. So we can see that. Okay, I want to see that like address also. Okay, comma st add. Okay, now if I select, if I execute, now simply we can see that Karthik and 78 Hoy. I want to see that ID also. Okay, st id selected. See, we can see that all. Okay, now like this also we can do that. If you want to print like individual column, if you want to see that individual columns data, you can select it. Now without writing this all the columns list, you can use a star in the sense like it will get all the columns from the table. Okay, all the columns from the table. But the thing is what, here I inserted only one record, right? But I want to insert multiple records. Okay, I want to insert like multiple records at a time. Then how I can insert? See it. Now insert into table name values. Okay, values. Now see. Now 1, 2, 3, comma, like Rahul, comma 78. Simply which word? Okay. Now one more record. Control copy. Okay. Now something. Done. Okay. Now here how the five records I want to insert it. Now select this one, execute it. I think values. Nothing is okay, right? Hidden name, marks, and address. Okay. Think it's a mistake. I think. Okay, like this we need to write. That is a mistake. Multiple records. It's considering only the single record. We have only one parenthesis. That is the reason. Now this is the last record. We can use that semicolon. That's it. Okay. Now insert into student values. Now I can select it. Now here the 5 rows is affected. Okay. Now if you want to see that all the data, now select star from sorry select star from student. Okay. Now here we can see like all the data. Okay. Now again I want to update it. Okay. Now we inserted a single record and multiple records we inserted. Okay. Now I want to update it. Okay. Now I want to update the record. Okay. Then how we can update? Okay. Now where the soma is there I want to there I want to add it's 3 marks and extra 20 marks I want to add. Okay. Extra 20 marks I want to add. Okay. Now then how I can add? Now just to give a minute. Sorry. Now where we are? Yeah, we inserted like multiple records, right? Like I want to update like where soma is there. I want to update like the 3. Now update table. Okay, update. I think like update table name. Now set. Okay, what you want to set? Like st marks. St marks is equal to 20. I want to set. Now, okay, observable here. Let's update a table name directly. Update the table name set st marks 20. అది కరెక్టే. మరి ఎస్టీ మార్క్స్ 20 అంటే మొత్తం ఏంటి ఇక్కడ 70, 70, 73 ఇవన్నీ 20 అయిపోతాయి. కానీ మన రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏంటి? ఎక్కడైతే సోమ ఆర్ ఎక్కడైతే 160 ఐడి ఉందో ఆర్ ఎక్కడైతే ఎనర్జీ ఉందో ఐ వాంట్ టు అప్డేట్ దేర్ ద ఎస్టీ మార్క్స్ 20. Okay. Now update the student set st marks. Now the condition is where. Okay, where the st name is equal to soma. Okay, then the particular record it's going to be updated. Okay, now execute it. Now it's affected. Now set student. Now earlier we have that 3. Now we extra added 20. Okay, 20 marks I updated. Okay, now I want to delete it. Okay, I want to delete it. Okay, now I want to delete Satya. Why? This is the marks are 10 only. Okay, that's why I want to delete it. Now, simply here, delete from student. Okay. Now, delete from student in the sense it will delete entire records. ఓకే. నేను డిలీట్ ఫ్రమ్ స్టూడెంట్ ఈ రికార్డ్స్ అన్ని డిలీట్ అయిపోతాయి. నా రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏంటి అంటే ఓన్లీ వేర్ ద సత్య ఈస్ దేర్ లైక్ ద 10 మార్క్స్ ఈస్ దేర్ ఐ వాంట్ టు డిలీట్ ఇట్. నౌ ద కండిషన్ విల్ రైట్ లైక్ వేర్ esteem marks is equal to 10 I want to delete it. Now execute it. Now it's deleted. Select star from student. Now simply we don't have any Satya right now. Okay. Now like that we can insert, we can update, we can delete, and the truncate and remaining operations we'll see tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Are you clear till now?
Yeah, clear Anna.
Yeah. If it is possible,
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see like that tomorrow installation part also. Okay. Now I will share that PDF file like how to install it. Or otherwise, I will share that link also. Okay, how
అన్న
to
అన్న
download
నీ
it.
వాయిస్ ముందు వినిపియలేదు కొంచెం మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెప్పవా?
ఒకసారి నేను ఆ లింక్ షేర్ చేస్తా. డౌన్లోడ్ చేయాలి లేకపోతే మనం రేపు ఇన్‌స్టాలేషన్ చేసుకుందాం.
MySQL అన్న?
అవునా? ఉందా ఇన్‌స్టాలేషన్?
SQL సర్వర్ ఉంది నా ల్యాప్‌టాప్‌లో.
ఓకే. యాహ్! ఏదైనా ఓకే కానీ కొంచెం లిటిల్ బిట్ క్వరీస్ చేంజెస్ ఉంటాయి. టైప్స్ అవన్నీ. ఇఫ్ ఇట్స్
యాహ్!
పాసిబుల్ యూ
ఓకే
కెన్
అన్న.
ఇన్‌స్టాల్ లైక్ MySQL ఆల్సో దట్స్ బెటర్.
యాహ్! ఇది SQL మీద కొంచెం ఐడియా ఉందన్న. అన్ని విండో ఫంక్షన్స్ అన్ని.
ఓకే. ఓకే. అలా
యాహ్!
ఉన్నా ఏం లేదు. మనకి ఇక్కడ MySQL ఉన్నట్టు కొన్ని డేటా టైప్స్ అనేవి చేంజ్ చేసి ఉంటాయి. మిగతాన్ని సేమే డేటా టైప్స్ చేంజ్ చేసి ఉంటాయి.
యాహ్! ఈ MySQL కూడా ఐడియా ఉందన్న.
హ్మ్.
మాస్టర్స్‌లో డేటాబేస్ సిస్టమ్స్‌లో MySQLలోనే ప్రాజెక్ట్ చేసిన. ఆ సబ్జెక్ట్
ఓకే.
మొత్తం అదే.
ఓకే.
MySQL
ఓకే.
కూడా ఐడియా ఉంది.
ఓకే. ఓకే. సరే. సరే. యాహ్! కార్తిక్ ఇన్‌స్టాల్ చేసుకోవాలనుకుంటా. ఓకే. యాహ్!
యాహ్! బావ నేను చేసుకుంటా బావ.
ఓకే. ఓకే. నేను లింక్ షేర్ చేస్తా గ్రూప్‌లో.
షేర్ చేయండి బావ. నేను డౌన్‌లోడ్
యాహ్!
చేసుకొని చేస్తా బావ. ఓకే
యాహ్!
బావ.
యాహ్! యాహ్! డన్.
బాయ్ బావ.
యాహ్! ఓకే.
యాహ్! బాయ్ అండి.
యాహ్! బై. విల్ సీ టుమారో.
ఓకే బావ. బాయ్.